Good morning, everyone. I invite you to please rise as the platform party enters the gymnasium.
Mr. Provost, I declare the 2022-2023 academic year at Utica University to be in session.
Will everyone please remain standing for the singing of our national anthem? Thank you, and everyone please be seated. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to everyone, and especially to all of our new students. Out of courtesy, please turn off or silence your cell phones and refrain from texting during the ceremony. It is now my great pleasure to introduce the following individuals who are seated with me on the stage. Utica University President, Dr. Laura Casamento. Today's guest speaker, Utica University alumnus, Lieutenant Colonel Wendi O, U.S. Army Reserve. Executive Director of Undergraduate Admissions, Ms. Jessica Nelson. And your Student Government Association President, Colby Kucinich. Colby is a senior cybersecurity major with a minor in fraud and financial crime investigation. He is originally from Old Bethpage, New York on Long Island. Colby has been the president of the Student Government Association since December of 2021. Under his leadership, both the SGA Finance Supplement and the Constitution have been updated. He is Chief of Operations for the Utica University Emergency Medical Service on campus and is also involved in the Jewish Student Union. Additionally, Colby trains students in CPR through the Red Watch Band program. He's very passionate about serving the student body, being a voice of the students, and a connection between administration and the student community. Thank you, Colby, for all that you do. So good morning again, and welcome to the Utica University class of 2026. I'm excited to say that out loud. Pioneers of the class of 2026. First, because it gives you a long-term goal, that being to walk across the stage in barely 4 years and receive your diploma. Trust me, that momentous occasion will be here much sooner than you think. I understand completely if all you can envision right now is trying to find your first classroom in a couple of days. But 4 years from now, you will all be saying to each other, where did all that time go? It will fly by. It does for every university graduate, even though in the moment it may seem slow. Much of what you encounter may seem slow, whether it be good or challenging. I can imagine what you'll be saying. When will our first break from classes happen? This semester is moving so slow. For our football team out here, when will that first game be here? In a week? So I'm not stuck in practice all the time. The season is moving so slow. When will this convocation ceremony end so I can hang out with my friends? It is moving so slow. When will my first college exam take place? That will be here sooner than you think. Okay, so be prepared. The second reason I like telling everyone that you are the class of 2026 is that it reminds me of just how remarkably old I am. I completed my undergraduate degree in the last century, including my undergraduate studies, graduate studies, teaching career, my administrative career. I've been on college campuses for 38 years of my life. The same year when I was sitting in your chair, attending a new student convocation as a freshman, a very young phenom named Wayne Gretzky won his first Stanley Cup. The boss, Bruce Springsteen, first sang to us that he was born in the USA. Alex Trebek hosted Jeopardy for the first time. Most notably, when I packed up my Chevy Monte Carlo, sweet ride, and drove 2 hours to college, there were no laptops, iPads, smartwatches, earbuds, or cell phones in existence anywhere. I was typing papers and assignments on my fancy new electric typewriter. And aside from my clothes, my Pop-Tarts, my ramen noodles, and quarters for laundry, the most important items I brought from home were my 5 spiral notebooks, 1 for each class, college rule. I was no longer in high school, they were college rule. And perhaps the most important item, I would argue perhaps the most important invention known in the history of higher education, an entire box of number 2 lead pencils. Now hang in there with me. Convocation addresses are supposed to deliver a message as well, and I have one for you. And I came with a prop. Now the president wouldn't let me run with scissors, so I brought my pencil. And there's a parable that goes with this. Some of you may have heard this before. When the pencil maker first invented this amazing tool, he took it aside just before he placed it in the pencil box, and he told the pencil, "There are 5 lessons that you need to know before I send you out into the world. Always remember these 5 and never forget them. Keep them in your heart and in your mind, and you will become the best pencil you could possibly be. First, you will be able to do and create many great and wonderful things in your life, but only when you allow yourself to be held in someone's hand. Second, you will experience painful sharpening from time to time, but you need that to become a better pencil. Third, you can and will be able to correct any mistakes you might make, thanks to the eraser that I've added to you. Fourth, the most important part of you, the lead, will always be on the inside of you. And finally, on every surface you are used, you will leave your mark. So no matter what happens in life, you must continue to write." The pencil understood, and he promised to remember, and he went into the box with purpose in his heart. Now I want all of you, each of you, to think about what lies ahead for you at Utica University. Understand your potential, your true worth as a student and as a contributor to this amazing community that you're about to enter. I want you to remember these 5 lessons in your heart and in your mind, and you will be the best student, the best person that you can be. First, you will be able to do and create many great things, but even more so when you work with others and allow yourself to hold and be held in someone else's hand. Allow others access to the many gifts you possess and learn from them as well. Second, you will experience a painful sharpening from time to time by going through various problems in college and in life, but through these challenges and sometimes uncomfortable situations, you will become a stronger person. Third, you will make mistakes. We all do. But you will be able to correct any mistakes that you might make. Always be humble enough to notice your mistakes and to make them right. Fourth, the most important part of you will always be what is on the inside. And finally, with every situation you face, every opportunity that you're presented, you must leave your mark. You must continue to do the best that you possibly can. And I sincerely hope this parable on the pencil further encourages you to know you are each a special person. Only you can fulfill the purpose to which you were born and to which you are coming to Utica University now to accomplish. When you face the challenges, which most certainly will come, do not get discouraged. Never think that you cannot make a difference. And know that this university is here to prepare you to make that difference. Every one of you is as unique and amazing as the person sitting next to you. And today, every one of you has the same opportunity as that person sitting next to you to accomplish remarkable achievements at Utica University. What will you do with this opportunity? Personally, I cannot wait to see your achievements and celebrate in your every success. So welcome again to the class of 2026. We are now privileged to have a proud Utica University alumnus give this year's convocation address. While working at the U.S. Africa Command, this year's speaker earned a Master of Science in Cybersecurity with specialization in cyber intelligence from Utica University in 2020, a program of study endorsed by the U.S. National Security Agency and the U.S. Homeland Defense. As a captain in the U.S. Army Reserve, our speaker served at the Pentagon on the Crisis Action Team after 9/11. For her outstanding efforts, she received the Army Staff Identification Badge and Global War on Terrorism Service Medal. When promoted to a major, she completed 2 consecutive combat tours in Afghanistan, which lasted 18 months. For her exceptional efforts in a combat zone, she received numerous medals and honors, including the Bronze Star Medal, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, Non-Article 5 NATO Medal, and the Afghanistan Campaign Medal, among others. As a Major and Lieutenant Colonel, our speaker was the Joint Operations Center Executive Officer at the U.S. European Command in Germany, where she reported terrorist activities within European countries to the U.S. Pentagon. During her next assignment, she completed logistical support to NATO in case of terrorist or enemy network attacks. In her following assignment, she was the Joint Operations Center Team Chief at the U.S. Africa Command in Germany, where she reported terrorist activities on the African continent to the U.S. Pentagon. After serving 5 years at the global strategic level, she is still in Germany, serving as a brigade strategic logistics planner. Her primary responsibilities are to develop a competitive U.S. Army footprint in Europe, filled with a highly skilled workforce, and to create strategic logistic plans to ensure the military readiness of the U.S. Armed Forces in Europe and in Africa. The mission supports the U.S. National Defense Strategy and the European Deterrence Initiative, which increases the U.S. presence in Europe for security purposes. Please join me in warmly welcoming a pioneer from the graduate class of 2020, Lieutenant Colonel Wendi O. Brown, U.S. Army Reserve.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. President Casamento, Provost, faculty, staff, thank you so much for having me here. And students, welcome to the most exciting time of your life. You know, you are in charge of your career, but it doesn't start once you graduate. It actually starts right now while you're in college. College is meant to be an educational learning experience. And of course, you want to have some fun too. But I highly recommend that you use this time to prepare for a world that is not only full of opportunities, but a world that is competitive, sometimes unfair, and many times may be unfavorable to you. I am here today to help you gain the advantage to make it through a world full of challenges, but more importantly, to press through those challenging times. I have 7 treasure points that I would like to share with you. And I call them treasure points because they're valuable information that can help you succeed on any level and any career in any industry, and it's for all people. I have used these 7 treasure points to excel in my career. I have overcome some monumental challenges. Believe me, I have some enemies still scratching their head on how they could not destroy me. But I use these treasure points to facilitate and to use them to elevate myself in any situation. And I care to share them with you. So let's get started. The first treasure point is knowing how to obtain the people you need in your life. And that falls into 3 categories. The first one is a mentor, and we've all heard of that. But a mentor is just not someone who gives you advice. A mentor is there to protect you when someone is trying to sabotage your career, sabotage your work, sabotage your image. You're going to need that person. Sometimes people think, I can take care of myself, I don't need anybody. Oh, yes, you do. Because to succeed in life, it is a game. And sometimes it could be a ruthless game, so you need to know how to play to win. So the tricky part about having a mentor is that you don't choose your mentor. Your mentor actually chooses you. It's a relationship. This is somebody that you have trust, you build trust and loyalty. And so it's hard to point that person out, but when you meet someone who's influential and they choose you, I highly recommend building on that relationship because you're going to have some trials that you cannot overcome. The second category is industry mentor. Industry mentor is a mentor that's in your field. So me being in the military, it's very helpful for me to have a high-ranking officer to help me out. And they're very helpful, and they're actually the secret weapon. People don't know who my industry mentor is. I keep it a secret. So when you go up against me, you don't know who I have in my back pocket. But you'll feel it because you'll understand we could not infiltrate her or help with her demise. And then the third category are having colleagues as your allies. Most of the time we like to say who, everyone that we know. You don't need to necessarily say that. It's okay to let people know some of the folks you know, but you don't need to let them know everyone. Because believe me, those colleagues will come in handy sometimes when you need favor as far as getting an internship, as far as getting the right job, getting invited to the right networking functions. And so I did have an instance where a person who wasn't one of my friends and didn't think too much of me, I had to turn in a proposal, and I turned it in a little late. And then I gave it to someone, and he turned it in even later. And it took 60 days to get this proposal approved. Somehow I got approved in 2 weeks. When I told my friend, I said, "Thank you so much for getting this done," he was in such awe, he couldn't even say thank you. His response was, "The people in the front office must really like you." And the point of that, he didn't know, I made friends with the people in the front office. So when I needed a favor, they came through. And I never promoted that I knew them, but I always make friends here, there, everywhere. I always like to brag, I got friends globally. I don't tell you who they are, but I got friends globally because I don't know who I need to call on in case times become challenging. So again, treasure point number one is to obtain the people you need for support. And that's the category of a mentor, an industry mentor, and colleagues as allies. The second treasure point is your own personal education. Yes, all of you are here and you're going to graduate in 2026, but you also need to look out what you need to do to make you differentiate between your peers, person sitting on your left and your right. So sometimes that may include getting a certification in something on your own. Job doesn't require it. Your career may not even require it, but it can help you out. Another thing is doing external trainings, sometimes going online if you feel like you're not strong in a particular area. Do whatever it takes for you to do to be competitive once you graduate. And again, all of this starts here in college. Start practicing your technique in college so once you graduate, you will be ahead of the curve compared to your colleagues. The things that I'm telling you, I probably didn't learn until 15 years after I graduated from college. So I was a little late to the party. However, I made up for lost time, and I did surpass my goals. Also with this personal education, you want to become the go-to person. When you take various classes, particularly if you have a class that deals with a lab and you get stuck, you're going to think of, who do I call? There's always that one or two people in the class that's a little bit sharper than everyone else. Try to be that person. And you do whatever, and get whatever extra training and education you need to get in order to be that go-to person. Also what we call in the military a SME, which is a subject matter expert. That is important, and that helps you stand out. Treasure point number 3, 4 skills that help you stand out: competency, critical thinking, networking and building relationships, and being quick on your feet. So competency, you pretty much already know the importance of that, which means don't go the fake it till you make it route. Become that expert, become fully competent, add value wherever you go. If you're able to add value wherever you go, you will make an impact and you will always be in demand regardless of the economy. 2, critical thinking. We're at the stage where everybody has an opinion. Everyone has an opinion on social media. The problem is every opinion isn't important and it's not relevant. Don't be that person. Make sure you are very good at critical thinking, meaning obtaining the information, analyzing it, coming up with a conclusion, and then giving it back to your instructor, or once you graduate to your boss. Critical thinking is key. And then third, the networking and building a relationship. Most of us know how to connect on social media, but the key is to really build that relationship. Building a relationship is going to make a huge difference with your time here in college and especially in the workplace. I may know a lot of people, but I have few people that I've actually built a relationship where I have gained their trust and they've gained my trust. And when people have a strong relationship, you receive favor. I would tell you sometimes you'll notice, maybe here in college, but definitely once you get into the workplace, a person can have the appearance of being the golden person. It just seems like everything is going right. It's not so much they're special. They learned how to nurture relationships. They have learned how to figure out what is of value to that person, that project, that mission, that team, and they deliver on that value. So building relationship is key. And the last part of that was being quick on your feet. So let me tell you, we have a saying called stump the chump. And in the military, a person can give a briefing, and then you may have someone in the audience doing stump the chump. That means they're throwing questions at you, knowing that you probably can't answer, don't know how to answer, or they'll word it in a way that's difficult. Meanwhile, your boss and your supervisors and colleagues and peers are looking at you, look incompetent. You've got to learn how to respond quickly to that. And yes, like I said, sometimes life is unfair. You go, why would someone do that? That's because that's how that person plans to stand out. Sometimes they play a little bit of the devil's advocate. So learn how to respond quickly when you're in a challenging situation. Even if you don't know the answer, you come back the next day with the answer. Even if you're not asked what the answer is, you come back and let the instructor or let your colleague or let your boss know. You asked me something yesterday, I did my research and this is the answer. Always come back. Always be ready to be quick on your feet because you're going to have people challenge you from today to the time you retire. Even in your classrooms, a teacher or professor asks a question and you get called on and you don't know, then your colleagues start laughing and snickering. You've got to come back from that. Oh, yes. Otherwise, that's your image and your reputation. So you may not know the answer right then and there, but you do your research and you come back and you give the answer publicly and let people know that you are competent at your job or at the skill at hand. And treasure point number 4 is resource. Taking jobs or assignments or internships that may not even be in your curriculum, but they can help you develop as a person. For example, in college, my major was finance. I was getting my degree in finance and business administration as well as ROTC. But I decided to also take classes in acting, even in music, to help develop a more well-rounded person. One thing about acting, it showed me how to deliver, how to talk to people, how to be in front of people. Because in business school, I wasn't taught that. I was taught how to do the numbers, how to do a presentation, what should be included, the content, but it didn't teach me how to really deliver. And acting did that. So don't just look at what's my curriculum and stay in that lane. Take a few courses to where it broadens your horizon, your personality, and who you are. I also have a situation where I knew someone, when they graduated from college, they had 2 job offers. And the difference between the 2 job offers was $20,000. And we're talking about maybe 20, 30 years ago. The difference was $20,000. He automatically assumed, I'm gonna go for the one that pays the highest. But 30 years later, or 20 years later, if he had taken the one that paid less, he would have developed into a person that has much more experience, life experience, than he does now. He would have traveled the world. He would have spoken other languages. He just would have had a much fulfilling career. But he let that 20,000 make a difference. Money is not always the deciding factor. Sometimes you have to really look at the whole scope of things and realize what's best for you. And treasure point number 5 is dealing with strategic plans. Have a 5-year plan set out for what you would like to do each year. Think about the resources you need to get there, the skills you need to get there. And you don't have to announce it to the world, but be able to talk to your mentor about that to make sure that you are on the right track. That will make a difference so that you're not just going about life, just seeing what happens at that particular time. Anyone that you respect, whether it be a family member, faculty, celebrity, business person, I would tell you they've all had strategic plans on how to get ahead. It is absolutely necessary. And treasure point number 6 is your mindset. And when I say mindset, I'm not talking positive thinking. I am talking about the power of focus. Don't try to be great at everything. Find 1 or 2 things that you're really good at and focus on that and become the best you can at it. Become that subject matter expert. Become that person to go to when things go wrong. It will make a difference. Now, while most people tell you you need to work hard, you need to think positive, while those are important, that's the foundation of who you are. But they're not the tool. The tool is that ability to focus. That tool is critical thinking. And then in addition to that, also don't quit. We've all heard that. But if you don't quit, what do? You learn to pivot. You may think going down this one particular path is what you love, is what you're passionate about, and then things don't quite go as according to plan. We've all been there. It happens. Then that means you just pivot. Just do something slightly different, but maybe in the same genre, and you'll find that you'll have success. Growing up, I did not imagine myself having a career in the military. Based off of my image and what I thought of the military, it was the last thing I wanted. I didn't have any role models. I didn't have any peers to do it, so it was not something I wanted to do. However, my parents had different plans for me and made me sign on the dotted line. And once I got in the military, I really started learning of the different privileges and the different exposure and the different access I started having. And then I realized, this military is a pretty good deal. And then knowing that I can get jobs throughout the world, globally, that type of exposure, it's just absolutely priceless. So I didn't get what exactly I thought I was going to get upon graduation, but I did pivot, and I ended up having a career of a lifetime. I've had jobs that have expanded over 3 continents, North America, Africa, and Europe. I can't really tell you how many countries I've visited, but probably visit more countries than the most, just being able to live and work over in Europe for the past several years. So don't always quit. Don't quit. Just learn how to pivot your situation and move forward. And treasure point number 7 is personal brand and reputation. Warren Buffett, famous investor, once said, "It takes 5 minutes to destroy a 20-year reputation." Your brand, your reputation is everything. It's worth more than money. You can come back for money. Even if you waste time, you can come back. You can make up for lost time. But once you lose your reputation of integrity, trust, authenticity, it's very hard to next to impossible coming back from that. As an officer, we are constantly reminded how we carry ourselves and making sure that we are an example to our junior officers as well as our non-commissioned officers. So everything I do as far as my job, how I carry myself, even when I'm going to functions, I look how am I handling myself? And the great test to that is saying, if this was on the cover of New York Times, would you be okay with it? That makes the difference. And so I can't stress enough, of knowing that your personal brand and your image is extremely important. And understand right now, you're going to be held accountable for what you put on your social media. And yes, employers look at your social media when you're applying for internships as well as jobs. So don't think it's just, if you want to have a good time and pass photos among each other, that's one thing. But be careful about what you put on social media. Because employers, especially if you need a security clearance, that's the first place they look. They want to see what's on your social media. And then they form a dossier on you. Dossier pretty much is a profile. And yes, that does happen. So in closing, practice these 7 treasure points now. Get that head start, because most college students are not thinking about it. It took me 15 years after graduating to start doing it. But I highly recommend that you start this now, so by the time you get into the workforce, you understand how to be successful. So let me just recap the 7 treasure points. The first one being attract the right people, have the right people in your life, the mentor, industry mentor, as well as the colleagues. 2, your personal education, become that subject matter expert at any cost. 3, the 4 skills that you need to be exceptional, competent, critical thinking, knowing how to network and build relationships, and being quick on your feet. The 4th one, resources. Take course trainings that help you expand your breadth of what you know and what you can bring to the table. Treasure point number 5, future plans. Put your plans together on how you're going to be successful in your career. 6, mindset. Again, that's not positive thinking. That's the power of knowing how to focus and concentrate and become an expert at something. And treasure point number 7, your personal brand and reputation. That is the most important thing in your career. It can hurt or break you. And it can also give you favor when others are trying to put you in a challenging situation. I thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing all of you graduate in 4 years. And again, thank you, ma'am, for inviting me here.
Thank you so much, Lieutenant Colonel Brown. It is now my great pleasure to introduce Ms. Jessica Nelson, our Executive Director of Undergraduate Admissions, who will present this year's entering class. Ms. Nelson?
It is my pleasure as the Executive Director of Undergraduate Admissions to turn over this incoming class to the Provost, faculty, and Student Affairs staff. The entire campus community will be here to support you on your journey of creating a future that's beyond your imagining. It's also my pleasure to introduce this class to everyone in attendance this morning. We are thrilled to have learned about your hopes and dreams as your applications were read and decisioned. All of you bring many unique and inspiring talents to Utica University. Our higher learning institution is more enriched and our community is more connected through the personal stories and experiences that each of you bring to campus. You wrote about adversities faced in your life, how you have persisted and overcome them. We learned about karate influences, weightlifting, experiencing an earthquake, and losing your mom. Some of you have personally battled Lyme disease, cancer, broken bones, diabetes, and have overcome each of these while maintaining your academics. We also learned about your wishes while being on campus. One of you wants to start a culinary club, and I'm here for that. Dozens of you wrote about wanting to make your family proud because you're the first in your family to head off to college. You have many hobbies and interests: chess, travel, study abroad, community service, fly fishing, fencing, fashion, and the list goes on. The entering class that's in this room is full of academic achievers. You're a smart group, earning top achievements in many different academic areas. We have a valedictorian and a salutatorian in the house today. 32 of you are in the top 10 of your high school class, and nearly 40% of the students here are in the top 25% of the overall class when it comes to rank. More than 10 of you have a high school average of over 100, 9 of you have a 99, and 17 have a 98, and 135 of you have earned a 90 or better, and all of you have worked very hard to get here today. Not only have you prepared for college, you are a worldly group. You come from all areas of the globe, including Ukraine, Canada, Malaysia, Ethiopia, Congo, Ghana, Guatemala, Thailand, Germany, Liberia, Gambia, Costa Rica, Myanmar, and the Philippines. 16 states are represented, including Arizona, Connecticut, California, Florida, Iowa, Massachusetts, Maryland, Michigan, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Vermont, and of course, the great state of New York. For many of you, Utica isn't new. 8 of you have moms or dads currently working on campus. Hi, Thomas, Jaden, Allison, Sydney, Daniel, Emma, Aiden, and Lily. You also follow the Utica legacy. 11 of you have parents, grandparents, siblings, or cousins who've attended Utica before you. It's so great to see the legacy continue with your university start. You all have ambitious personal growth expectations and inspiring career goals that include being an OBGYN, a surgeon, coach, accountant, nurse, lawyer, physicist, wellness expert, and an entrepreneur, and the list goes on. Specifically, there are a few trends in this class. 45 of you have declared business management or administration as your major, 34, biology. 13 of you have selected animal behavior, and 11, communication and media. 22 of you have selected construction management, and 25 are majoring in criminal justice, and 24 in cybersecurity. 23 of you have selected sports management, 21 health and physical education, and 127 of you will keep us all healthy in physical therapy, occupational therapy, health sciences, and nursing. And many of you are still undecided, and that's okay too. Get ready to explore with your faculty to find your passions. Your unique experiences and varied preparation for this college experience, differing dreams and aspirations for careers makes for a vibrant and dynamic community. We welcome you to Utica University and are looking forward to seeing your talent shine in and out of the classroom. Thank you.
It is now my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Laura Casamento, President of Utica University.
I now ask the entering class of 2022 to please stand. It is my great pleasure and privilege to formally welcome you, our new first-year transfer and graduate students, to the Utica University community. I hereby invest you as newly admitted students with all the rights and privileges that come with that accomplishment. Now everyone, please join me in welcoming the entering class of 2022. Thank you. You may be seated. 76 years ago, this institution welcomed its first class of students. At that time, our campus was comprised of an old stone church and some repurposed buildings in downtown Utica. It was a very humble beginning. But our founders and those first students shared a vision of what this institution could one day become. They envisioned a modern campus with advanced facilities for learning and research, a place where students can pursue their passions and achieve success. But most importantly, a college of hope, one that values free expression and celebrates diversity in all of its forms. And while modern facilities, student organizations, and athletic programs would be years in the making, our founders' promise of a highly personal, forward-looking institution was a reality from day one. As you can see around you, their bold vision of a modern, dynamic center of learning has now been fully realized. The Utica College they inaugurated in 1946 is now Utica University. And so with this proud legacy in mind, I now have the honor of welcoming you, the first incoming class of Utica University. Throughout our 76-year history, we have remained true to the principles that inspired that first class of students. We are still committed to expanding opportunity and celebrating diversity. We still uphold the principles of free inquiry, letting ideas stand or fall on their merits. These longstanding commitments are embodied in two of our guiding documents. One is the Statement of Principles regarding expression on campus, which speaks to our commitment where everyone feels valued and where freedom of expression is affirmed, cherished, and sustained. The other is the Utica University Stance Statement, which expresses our determination to stand with those who believe in equal justice and equal opportunity for all. You can find these documents on utica.edu/expression and utica.edu/stance. I recommend that you familiarize yourself with them over the coming days. But more importantly, I encourage you to think about your role in bringing these principles to life. Those first students in 1946 asked themselves what kind of institution they wanted this to be. In many ways, they determined the answer to that question by working hard, pursuing their dreams, and becoming their best selves. Now that same challenge is set before all of us. The principles that define this university are only as strong as your commitment to live by them. So as you begin your journey at Utica University, it's important to ask yourself, what kind of university do you want this to be? One that is strongly supportive of equal rights and equal opportunity? A university that is committed to free expression and mutual respect? It's a question that every generation has answered in its own way. And while your experience is different from that of the first generation of pioneers, the task ahead of you is the same: building a path to the kind of future you want for yourselves. These principles will play an important part in that process. By now, you've become to acclimate yourselves to life on this campus. You've met and interacted with many new people, some of whom you will become lifelong friends. You've learned the lay of the land, so to speak. You know where to get supplies, where to grab lunch, where to find your classes, your labs, and your care team members. My advice to you today will sound familiar to what was said to the first incoming class 76 years ago. First, get to know your professors. You will find they are more than just dedicated teachers. They are your mentors, your advocates, your friends. Years from now, when you look fondly back on your days at Utica University, it is likely a professor that touched your heart and your mind, and you'll never forget it. Your professors play an integral role in helping you build your pathway to success. Second, take the time to participate in campus life. You are part of a vibrant, diverse community, and there will be many opportunities for you to discover new things about yourself. Lastly, always take the initiative. Don't be afraid to move outside of your comfort zone, because that is where discoveries will be made. In short, learn to be a true pioneer. As we conclude this convocation ceremony, I'll hope you join in singing the university's alma mater. You'll find the lyrics in your program. I wish you great success, personal fulfillment, and good health as you embark upon your university journey. Welcome home, pioneers. Thank you.
Will everyone please rise for the singing of our alma mater? You will find the lyrics in your program.
Please remain standing until the platform party and faculty recess. After the platform party and faculty recessed, first-year students are asked to remain seated in the gym for the class photograph, which will be taken immediately following convocation. All others are asked to exit the gym through the front doors. Thank you.